Hi everyone, today we have the 2025 Mazda CX-90. So in this review we will just have a quick look around the car in exterior, interior, and for sure we'll take it out for a test drive to see how this car feels driving it. So starting off with the exterior, so CX-90 is just the top of the line Mazda. This is the GT trim, which we also have the signature, so this is not top of the line. And basically the CX-90, the zero that Mazda added, basically means that this is the luxurious car that they provide. Like, they are competing with Acura and Lexus, so we expect the car to be super luxurious. This is like the base, the best Mazda that's being produced. And all the elements in the front and the back are LEDs. We have these premium signature Mazda LED turn signals on the front and the back, so anyone knows that you are driving a Mazda, because no other car can match that or offer such a thing. We also have the 360 camera. We have this beautiful huge grille, blacked out grille in the front with this beautiful big Mazda logo. The car is like huge. We have like a 7-seater car, 3 rows of seating, big wheels. We have these cameras on the mirrors showing that we have a 360 camera. The car is like super big, and we expect to have a spacious trunk, which is the case, and all the elements on the back are like LEDs as well. I love these connected kind of a tail light on the back. We have this inline-six 3.3 liter engine here, which is called like a mild hybrid vehicle. So the E is Skyactiv G engine. And overall the vehicle is big, and I like the overall design. It's like a distinctive look, so anyone knows that you're driving a Mazda with these turn signals and the overall shape of the car. So let's go and check out the interior. So checking the interior, the first thing that we notice is that as we approach the car, we have touch sensors and door handles, fold up the mirrors, and unlock all the doors, which is pretty cool. And let's go and check out the interior. The first thing is that the height of the vehicle is just a little bit high, so it's just easy to get in and get out, which just makes it easier maybe for older people to get in and get out. It's not a sedan, but it's not like that's high like a truck. It's just like in the middle. We have these Bose sound system on this car, which just has a perfect sound quality. And as I said, this CX-90 is just kind of a top of the line Mazda. So basically we expect everything, every touch here to be super amazing and a premium, and definitely it is the case. So here we have these beautiful brown stitched kind of a leather wrapped here. We have a kind of a plastic-ish material, but this is just amazing quality. It just feels amazing to touch. These air vents, we have like a gold kind of a color on them, which is perfect quality. This one's as well. We have touch over here. We have the soft touch material. Everywhere that you touch is just of perfect quality, honestly. The seats on both sides are power adjustable. We have these 2-person memory seats for a driver, and the quality of the seats are pretty good. I love these seats. They're very comfortable. They look very high quality, and I love these kind of a brown stitching all around, and it's kind of a brown line in the middle. So let's fire up the engine to see the gauge cluster, which we are welcome to be this kind of a partially digital gauge cluster, which is okay. This is just not top of the line model. If you go with the signature CX-90, then you definitely get the fully digital gauge cluster, which is a lot nicer to me. But this steering wheel is amazing. Like, this quality is amazing, but it's just super stiff, especially when you want to park, which we will just get to that in the test drive. We have these kind of a controls for the radio and audio system and the different safety systems, which is on the right. The quality is perfect. Like, everywhere you touch is just great. We have lots of physical buttons here: heated seat, cooled seat, heated steering wheel, like all of them. This is an array of like buttons, but if you just want to turn on, turn up or down these like AC system, then these keys, these buttons, they are top quality. I think they are metal and they are amazing. It feels amazing to touch. I love touching them. Like, everywhere touch is amazing. We have these kind of a cool shifter. I like how it feels. It's kind of a like airplane shifter, I don't know, but it feels great. And everywhere you touch, this is just top quality material. Even here, your feet will touch. This is just leather wrapped. Everywhere you touch, it's just top quality. A big center console, which is also leather wrapped, a big panoramic sunroof, and a perfect quality for the roof. Sunglass holder over here. So everything that you touch, all the materials and everything are just of high quality here. We also have these 360 camera on the car. which has, you know, a couple of different views. But the worst thing about this interior, I think, is just this infotainment system, which is around like 12.5 inches, which is not a touch screen. I know it's an Apple CarPlay on Android Auto is a touch screen, but in general it is not. So you just have to utilize this kind of a dial in the middle to just different settings. I mean, you can get used to it, but I wish it was a touch screen. I mean, I love touch screens a lot better than this one. I mean, the distance is just not that far. I can easily reach here, so it's just questionable of why they choose to have that. We also have these kind of a small heads-up display, which is a nice touch for a luxury vehicle. I think it's just necessary. So overall, the quality, the material is amazing. I wish this, you know, center screen was a touch screen, but apart from that, no complaints at all about the interior quality. Let's go and check out the test drive. Alright, so here we are with the test drive at CX-90. As I said, we have a brilliant quality with the active trajectory 360 camera. So let's just navigate the vehicle to see how it looks. It doesn't show underneath the car, which just doesn't matter at all. Like, why that's important, I don't know. But the steering wheel, like, feel is just so stiff. Something that I hate about Mazda is like not comfortable for the people. I can't turn it with one hand, while in Hondas, Acuras, Lexus, Toyotas, I can easily turn it with one hand, which is something that I don't like about this steering wheel at all, honestly. This is just a huge con for me, a huge disadvantage. I don't like it at all. And just makes the vehicle operating the vehicle at low speeds pretty hard. I mean, this is just not a small vehicle. You just have to, you know, it just requires a lot of effort to, you know, turn and, you know, navigate the car when you want to basically, you know, park these cars and all that stuff, which is not good at all. But the one thing that this car excels in is the power of the engine. So we have a 3.3 liter inline six engine mild hybrid with 220 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, which is a lot. Honestly, it's just lots of power for the car, and it's just, you know, required because the car is huge, and the brake feel is great for this amount of power and this huge vehicle. It just makes it comfortable to drive this car. It just goes fast, but you know that you can easily stop it smoothly, so you won't feel worried driving this car around the town. So the brake feel is just okay. Yeah, the biggest highlight maybe of this car and this engine is just huge amount of power that it offers. This car also has 8-speed automatic transmission, which, you know, it's okay. We'll just see the performance in a sec. I mean, it's okay. I will let you know why I say it's okay in a sec. So let me just put it in sport mode, which is just the best performance. So the downshifts are slow, actually. Honestly, that's just not so good. You see, the car just jolts, kicks you for some reason when you downshift, and it just happened multiple times right now when I was driving this car, which is definitely, you know, something unacceptable. It just feels uncomfortable. Like, what the heck is going on? I'm just downshifting. Why the car kicks me? Not good at all. You see, like now, like downshift. The car is just hesitant to downshift, hesitant to upshift. It's just very slow to respond to your commands. See, upshift takes 3 seconds to do that, and it's not nice at all. It's, yeah, I mean, I think the technology, these like transmission is outdated. Maybe it's something related to programming and stuff, I don't know, but it's not so great, honestly. But the brake feel, as I said, is good. We also have these auto hold here, makes it easy to drive around the town, and it's easy to drive and you know, make this car to a smooth stop. And we also have these iStop technology, turn off the engine when I just, you know, put your foot on the brake. And yeah, because I have the brake hold, it won't turn on the car. So as soon as I touch the gas pedal, the car will be turned on. So right now the engine RPM is at 0. Very quiet inside. But honestly, this car is not for like driving around the town in the city, because the you know, the fuel consumption is high, and it can go up to 13 liter per 100 kilometers. I don't know, like 19, 20 mpgs, so it's not so good for driving around town. The good thing is that Mazda also offers the plug-in hybrid version, so definitely if you are driving a lot in the town, you definitely have to go with the plug-in hybrid. That one has around like 46 kilometers of range only on pure electricity, which just makes it easy to drive around the town without, you know, sacrificing fuel consumption a lot. And the engine turned on, I didn't feel and hear anything. I think this is just very, very refined system from Mazda. I think in the Hondas it's just a little bit shaky, a little bit jolt, but this one was very, very smooth to turn on the engine. Amazing. Power is great, but I think the transmission is just, you know, making that engine not look that powerful. Actually, it's just hitting the performance of that engine. The downshift is very slow, so right now I'm just pushing my foot on the gas. It's just very slow to respond, honestly, and compared to other rivals like an Acura, I don't know, like an MDX or a Lexus TX. Transmission wise, this is just not comparable to those, like not so good. So right now, downshift, very slow downshift. And the car, you know, shakes when you do multiple downshift. An upshift, very slow. It takes a couple of seconds to do what you tell the car to do, to downshift and upshift. And this is a sport mode. You know, this is just the top performance you expect to get from the car. And this car offers 3 drive modes: normal, sport, and off-road, which I don't know why people should use that for an off-road. Yeah. And I also love this heads-up display. It just provides a lot of information for you. Just makes it easier to drive. You don't need to even look at the gauge cluster. Something luxurious that Mazda offers, and it works very well. It's high quality heads-up display. And the brake feel is good. And the steering wheel actually on high speeds is good actually. I'm not saying that this is horrible. It's only the issue only comes up when you are in low speeds. You want to park the car and all that stuff. That just makes it uncomfortable actually to operate, navigate this vehicle. So let's have but the sound of this engine is amazing. Like, I love how this car sounds when you're just pushing it. It's so good. It comes inside, this inline 6 sounds so good and super powerful. I'm not saying this car is not powerful. I'm just saying that this transmission is not utilizing that much of a power. So the car is in normal mode, so let's just go and check out the different active safety features that this car offers. So Mazda offers lane keeping assist and lane centering. So by lane keeping, they mean that if you just go out of the lane, which I will test right now, so let me just go over the lane, it will just, you know, see, they just turn the car back in the lane. Let's just give it another shot maybe here. See, it just turns it back, which is, they call it the lane keeping assist. They also offer the lane centering assist, which only works with the adaptive cruise control. So right now I'll just turn on the adaptive cruise control, set it to speed that I'm going right now, and then turn on that. You see that steering wheel on these adaptive, these heads-up display, and this cluster turns green, and the car is driving by itself right now. And it works very well. I just tested it. It works okay, on par with other cars, but that's surprising that, you know, why you cannot have these kind of, lane centering assist without the adaptive cruise control. That's something that is very surprising to me. But the overall, feel of driving this car is good. I'm not saying this is perfect, absolute best. It is good, okay. Let me just turn on the system. So right now it's driving by itself. Something that I love about Mazda is just these blind spot monitorings are also being shown in the cluster, makes it easier. So right now I'm not touching this brake pedal and steering wheel. The car is driving by itself, but asking you to put your hand on the steering wheel. which is nice. I mean, this car is not a totally fully self-drive car. They also have these, you know, traffic sign reader radar in these cars, so it shows you the speed and also the stop sign. Makes it easier to drive. You know, if you miss stop sign or something like that, then it just, you know, let you know. And something that I figured is that even this lane centering assist can be operated without the adaptive cruise control. So right now I'm not just using, you know, the radar cruise control or adaptive cruise control. Whenever I change the lane, right now it's working. So that's nice actually. Toyota doesn't offer that, but Mazda is offering that. So you can have these lane centering assist even without the adaptive cruise control, but it does not work below a certain speed. So right now, you know, it's just not working. I think it's just around like 40-50 kilometers. Above that, it will activate it and be, you know, it can be utilized, which is okay. I mean, most of the people use that in the highways. You won't use that when you're just driving 20 kilometers per hour, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, the big complaint about, you know, the overall driving experience is this heavy steering wheel. I don't like it at all. Just so bad. Let me just wait for this car to pass by. Yeah, I wish the steering wheel was just lighter. Then this car would be a great daily driver, except for the fuel economy. So just go with a plug-in hybrid if you want to drive it every day. But the radars, everything works good actually. The lane centering assist also works without the adaptive cruise control, so it's just a nice thing. And this engine sound is just amazing. If you love, you know, inline six engines, like hearing, you know, engine noise in the car, this car satisfy you to the best. This is just great. And yeah, this car shuts off by itself because it's a mild hybrid. It just makes it easier for the car to, you know, turn off, turn on the traffic stoplights and all that stuff. So that's maybe a huge plus, you know, for this car, having this mild hybrid engine. It makes it also more powerful in comparison to the, you know, pure combustion engines. Right now it's just so quiet in there. I wish the cluster was digital in this trim. I mean, definitely go with the higher trim. This car, you know, the price is around like 50,000 up to like 65,000. So I mean, it's better to get this like higher trim, and definitely get the plug-in hybrid if you want to get the maximum and best fuel economy, especially if you're driving around the town. This car is not good when you're driving in the town. But if you just get the signature, get the plug-in hybrids, get the digital cluster and all that stuff, then you did, I mean, a great choice. It's just a great car if you go with that stuff. Definitely the plug-in hybrid doesn't have these, you know, inline six. It's going to be a 4-cylinder engine, so you don't hear that much of a noise, like lovely noise you hear from the engine. But, you know, you get better fuel economy, obviously. You can drive that car for 46 kilometers on pure electricity, which is nice. Even here is just padded, so whenever I, you know, touch here, it just feels nice. It doesn't feel like a cheap plastic that is put there. So the material is just top notch in this car. Like Mazda did the best in getting the best material in this car. Great. And this I-stop from Mazda just works perfect, sharp, without any shakes at all. I don't hear or feel any shakes when this engine shuts off and turns on, which is amazing. And with that said, we have reached the end of these test drive and review for the Mazda CX-90 2025 GT trim. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, thoughts, you know, any suggestions for future videos, I will be very happy to see them down below in the comment sections, and hope to see you all in the next videos. Thank you.